Hey, welcome to Beats, Rhymes and Debate. Today, we're going to be talking about Nas's recent album, Kings Disease 2, and I'm joined by three great guests. So my name's Jordan.
I'm Idris.
Myself, I Judah.
And I'm Jojo.
Cool. So we're going to start off with everyone giving their rating out of 5 to the album. So myself, I thought I'd never say this, past Illmatic. Maybe it was written. But this album gets 4.2 for me, man. I like this album a lot. I really, really like it. And I think the reason why I like it so much is that it's almost like a redemption for Nas, for me. Because there's been a lot of question marks around his legacy, where some people argue that if you remove Illmatic from his catalogue, that his catalogue's looking kind of shaky, And I think someone with his status, it's a little sad when you have such question marks over his actual contribution, to the culture. And I think that this album really kind of rounds it off for me, to where it's like, do you know what? If you leave on this album and never make another one, I'm happy, because he just felt so comfortable, and not so much like comfortable as far as not looking to push the boundaries of anything, but more so just comfortable within himself, And I think that really kind of resonates with the music that he made on this project, where he's not really chasing anything,
Interesting. I will give it a 3. 3 out of 5.
Who put this man's next to me, man?
Bro.
Put this man's next to me.
The reason why I give it a 3 is because Nas is an elite rapper. He's that top of the food chain when it comes to lyricism and wordplay. And I don't feel like he was wowing me on this album with his wordplay or his lyricism. I feel like a lot of the bars, some of the bars that I found weren't as amazing. They weren't very clever. They were just very plain for me. And I'm like, the music is great. Hit Boy, fantastic job. He flowed really well with some of the songs, and even the features complemented the album really well. But for Nas, I wanted more awesome lyricism, and I didn't get that from this album, unfortunately.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's a 3.
I think that's a good starting point.
Okay. Well, I'll give this album a 4.5 to 5.
Okay.
I could give it a 5.
Okay.
But learning from previous... you know what I'm saying? Learning from previous... You get me? I'm saying I'm going to give it that little leeway, because I don't want to have to retract so much. You feel me? But I'm giving it a 4.5, a strong 4.5 to 5. But it done everything it needed to do for me, man. I'm a Nas fan. He's in my top 5. And I just believe that it showed growth, it showed maturity, it showed comfort, it showed swag, it showed style, it showed panache. It was just top flight for me, man. You get me? Like
it was that tuxedo level kind of stuff.
I can play that album from track 1 and just let it play.
Yeah.
And I can go back even a couple tracks sometimes, and I'm like, oh, that one hit me. You know what I'm saying? It's got that feel to it. So with that being said, I give it that rating, man. We'll go deeper into it.
Yeah, of course.
I think I have to agree with Judah. Definitely a 4.5 for me. For me, this album, it showed you why Nas is Nas. Like, why he's a godfather. The beat choices, even the sort of chemistry he has with Hit Boy from King's Disease that came out last year. They come out within a year and he's still this good. I think it's just an amazing album. The features on it as well, some were a bit iffy for me, but I'll get into that. I was expecting a lot better.
But Boogie with the hoodie?
Way. No, not even that. It was the Eminem one that was a bit iffy for me.
Okay. Okay. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
But to me, it was the utmost display of maturity. Someone like Nas, for me, I always judge him by his earlier albums and showing the growth from where he was with Illmatic to It Was Written, to the sort of mafioso style, to now this grown man who's like, it's sort of like he's preaching to you as an educator, but I'm humble. I'm doing this. My business moves on the side. It's just to me.
He's like, you'll make your mistakes,
Yeah.
but this is
Yeah.
like the road.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of showing you the path to walk down. And for me, I can't not give this album a 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think there's a few interesting things that we can really touch upon here. Firstly, I guess we can then go in order.
Yeah.
As far as like your criticisms of it. So when you're saying that you were expecting, I guess, a higher level of lyricism, like what does that actually look like to you?
It looks like you have a message that you want to convey,
Mm-hmm.
and you can convey that message, but you can make it. You can basically present it in a very clever way, so that I get to basically unpick it, and I find the intelligence, or I find the complexity that you use when you make those lines or the message that you make, which I don't think he did that for me, unfortunately. Like there was a lot of great message, like you say, a lot of the wisdom that he was sharing, but it felt like he was just telling it. Nas is Nas. Like Nas has that, great way of picturing.
He's multi-dimensional.
He's multi-dimensional. Like he's like multi-layered.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there was that many layers when it comes to the lyricism on this album.
But and I agree with your point. And to be fair, like I used to kind of like see music in that way, particularly hip hop.
Yeah.
And especially like especially rappers who I followed from their inception to their journey to becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a thing where it was difficult for me to truly appreciate something which wasn't multi-syllable or didn't have like a heavy dosage of metaphors and similes, etc. Because for me that was kind of like detracting away from their pure essence.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that there was like a distinction between like being a great rapper but also being a great artist. And following Jay-Z throughout the course of his career, I think he's someone who's really epitomized that for me.
Yeah.
Where he says like, what does he say? I done down for my audience to double my dollars. They criticize me for it, yet they all yell holla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't think anyone can deny that Jay-Z has significantly dumbed down from Reasonable Doubt era in the context of how he's delivering his bars.
Yeah.
But I think as far as the message is concerned, that's always been quite consistent throughout the course of his music.
I hear that.
And I feel that with this project, I get a lot of that because I'm happy that he's not having to prove anything to anyone, which is why I said before that he just feels comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel you. And with maturity and the times changing comes a different approach to how you execute your delivery with music.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And we know he's got the skill. We know he's got the metaphors, the similes, and he knows how to word stories and tell us stories in different ways. But now he's grown. He's wearing suits now. He ain't on the block with that having to break down and sugarcoat the way he says a certain story because the law might get onto him. Hip hop feds. You get what I'm saying? Now he's above all of that. So he's going to talk with more of a relaxed feeling and a relaxed, you understand?
Swagger.
Level of
I hear that,
delivery.
and you're right in a sense that when you reach a certain level of maturity, you're really not bothered by what maybe I don't know, like you said, the hip hop police is going to say. But on a song like Death Row East, for example, he's trying to bring us to a time when there was a beef happening between East Coast and West Coast, and he was part of trying to break to mend that situation. But I don't feel like the storytelling on that song does that properly. I feel like he just says, let's go back to 96, or like I just feel like he could have painted a picture so much more beautifully.
I thought he did that. I thought he
Yeah,
did that great.
Especially for someone that doesn't even know Nas how we know Nas. Listening to that gives you a little bit of history on, oh, word, that's what they went through.
Yeah.
It would give somebody that kind of feeling. But because we've got such an expectation of him for what we know, you feel that he could have done better. But imagine, this music is for the current as well.
Yeah.
And those people know him for what they're hearing now. And that, to me, was a good representation of taking us back to 96.
And he's he's narrating a true story as
A
well.
you see what I'm saying?
The fact that he even spoke about that story on a track, on his album.
Yeah,
not
I was
in an
surprised.
interview.
Yeah.
People go to that album, that story will always be there.
And I think like there's certain things that a lot of rappers could talk about but don't because of certain heat that they could potentially get for actually saying certain things. Because I think even in him saying that story, he was saying it like within a really kind of like refined kind of manner. Yeah. Because he could have potentially implicated a lot more people in that situation.
I actually respected when he was like, let me just shut down this rumor. Like,
exactly.
This is not what happened. Like, he's giving us the insight of the story. And I accept that and I appreciate that. At the same time, I still can't let go of the fact that I expected something more Nas. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I want the Illmatic Nas again.
You wanted Illmatic
that's not the
Nas.
same.
You did.
But I just want. I don't know how to express it. But like, I feel like he could just make it more clever. A lot of his bars could have just been more clever for me.
Okay. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't have an issue with the cleverness, so to speak. For me, he gave me what I was expecting from him. I wasn't even expecting him a Nas album this year. We got, like I said before, King's Disease came out last year. We got the second part of the King's Disease in a year.
But did you actually like the first King's Disease?
I really did.
I didn't like it.
Do you know the track I really loved? It was the one where he brought back the firm.
Oh, Dr. Dre and Foxy Brown.
That tune was wicked.
That's probably the best track on the album.
Because nobody was expecting that.
No one.
He brought back the firm.
The production on that was dope. Everything was dope. That was dope. That was nostalgia at its finest.
And then the tune with Charlie Wilson as well. Car 85.
Yeah, Car 85. To me, that was dope.
Yeah, and he got Charlie on this album as well.
Yeah. I think he knows what he's doing now, man. He's at that point of his career and he's mature enough and he's paid enough to just be able to do what feels right.
Yeah.
And what is right to me. You feel what I'm saying? He ticked all the boxes for me, man.
But I think to your point, though, Idris, like bringing it back to what we were just saying, like there is a sophistication that comes with being able to present what you have to say simply.
Yeah.
You know, I think when you're so caught up in how something is said rather than what is being said, then it's a thing where you have people who applaud you for you being technical or whatnot, but you don't really touch their hearts. You know? Like for me, like the simplest songs are the ones which I always go back to listen to.
Yeah.
Especially if it touches me in an emotional way.
I agree. And again, I'm not saying that I wanted Nas to come on the beat and like spaz out or I don't know, give us like, I don't know, crazy syllable, multi-syllable, everything like that. I just wanted him to make his bar more clever. Like I'm not saying that what he was saying, the message is not bad. Like let's take for an example a pair of his, Jay-Z, right? On Jay-Z, he has a song where he's like light nigga, dark nigga, rich nigga, poor nigga, Phil nigga.
It's simple, but it's smart.
It's very simple.
Still a nigga.
Yeah.
But the message is still very powerful. However, the way he says it is very simple. He's not giving us triple entendres, but the way he says it, it's so clever because when you listen back to it, you can pick it out and you can like understand what he's trying to convey. I feel like some of the bars here, there was nothing else that you could take out of it except what he just said. Like
that example was a bit that was basic. That nigga, that's ABC.
I don't think that's
you
complex
can't.
either.
That's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing clever about the way he delivered that. That was just.
I don't think that's complex either.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll find another example.
Do you know what? Yeah, like for me, yeah, it's a thing where like when you look at the execution of things, okay, then fine, but then concepts are another thing. And I think when you listen to a song like Nobody, like with Lauryn Hill,
yes,
that's one of the greatest concepts, I think I've ever heard in hip hop, period. Right? As far as him illustrating a world where, he, 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 where, he at peace.
Yes.
You know, like the way in which he was able to execute that so simply. The way in which he was able to execute that simply made the song come across even more profound. You know, because it made you digest what it was that he was actually saying.
Yeah.
Because what he was actually saying was really, really dense. You know, especially talking about an artist who has been at the forefront of this culture for the past 20 plus years.
Yep.
You know, to really bring everything full circle, really, for me, shows a sophistication that can only be truly understood when you really dig deeper into the concepts that he actually has to bring about on this album.
Okay. I hear that.
And another thing about the complexity of him being lyrical, it goes over some people's heads.
That's what.
And that's like an example of Papoose, for instance.
Yeah.
He's dope. Come on, man. He's a lyricist. He's
Yeah.
complex. He's the way he metaphors and all of his skills are sick. But you're not really going to pinpoint a Papoose song that really touches you like that because it's too technical.
And people
Yeah.
use
You
that
get what I'm
against
saying?
him.
I was gonna say
There
that,
was a
yeah.
time and age where we used to sit down and listen.
And
write
open
down
the
lyrics
books
down.
and, you know,
But
like,
now,
break it down.
The society ain't doing that. The narrative out here is it needs to be catchy, it needs to be quick. I need to understand it and grasp it now.
The landscape
that's what
has
he's
changed.
adapted to
Yeah.
and still made it cool and swaggy and you know what I'm saying.
That,
So
that's-
it's all
that was going to be my next point. I understood. I know that in the past, Nas has been criticized for being like going over people's head and not being very like maybe not accessible, but like he would say things and people just won't be able to get them because it's too clever or it's too great for people to take in. I understand that, but I also feel like 20 years in the game, you have to have a level of master. You know, you can be enough of a master to still convey a message clever enough to still wow the maybe the old audience and stuff like that, but still accessible enough for the new audience. I feel like he could have found that balance by now, and I don't think he has. I feel like he went either too simple or he's either too like lyrical,
Got
too
you.
complex.
Okay. So, but how would you say this has? How would you compare this album to the one which came before it, the first King's Disease?
You ask me first?
Yeah.
Okay. I prefer this to the first one actually.
Okay.
But the first one, in addition to people saying like Nas is a bit too complex, I think over the years people also criticize his beat choices and his
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, Nas is he's the worst beat picker."
Beat
But I don't
picker.
agree with that narrative anyway. But
Yeah.
so just hearing that they've gone 2 albums in 2 years, and Hit Boy is since I think it was the track that put him on the map was "Niggas in Paris."
Yeah.
And he produced that for Jay-Z and Kanye.
Yeah.
Then for him to do that within 2 years, and now they made an album that every single tune for me personally I love. There's
Yeah.
not a skippable song in it for me.
same.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not a skippable song.
That
But
is
with
so.
King's Disease 1, I did skip.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I skipped a few on King's Disease 1. King's Disease 2, I let play more than King's Disease 1. King's
Yeah.
Disease,
Same.
King's Disease 1, I go to the go-to songs, the
one- yeah.
You
The
see
one
me?
with
And
the
there's
front,
another
yeah.
one as well. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, there's about 3 that I go to on King's Disease 1. Whereas this one, I'm happy to just let
Straight
it play and do
through.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The second one was definitely better for me as well because similar to you, I can put this one on and just let it play through, and it doesn't feel jarring to listen to.
Yeah.
Although, like you said, I'm expecting much more lyricism. I was still able to enjoy the music, and I was still able to enjoy the beats, selections,
Yeah.
and some of the features that came on there. And yeah, it's a nice listenable album. The reason why it gets a 3 for me is because I want Nas to be more impressive than what he was. Unfortunately, I hold him to a different standard.
I think no, and I respect that.
That's
It's a thing where, like for me, like this album it's almost just a completely different album from the first one.
Yeah.
And I think you can really tell that there's been a lot of chemistry
Build up.
that's grown
Yeah.
between them since the first album. Because I don't think Hit Boy really captured Nas. That is either Hit Boy didn't capture Nas or Nas couldn't really rise himself to the level of the beats he was given.
Yeah.
And whereas this project, there's just a brilliant harmony between the two, because the beats that are trap
Yeah.
or have a trap kind of feel or essence, they're not too trap. Whereas I think the beats which were trap orientated on the first one, it was really trap, and and Nas was really trying to really kind of reach the standard of what is expected to rap over a trap beat. Whereas this time around, Nas really was able to bring everything down to his level and really operate within his zone.
I would say, I mean, I don't know if it is a different section, but like, can we talk about how he was just really good in the triple flow? Like, Nas rapping with the triple flow with like the southern flow, or whatever, was actually nice. I didn't expect that to be.
What tune was he doing that on again?
The one where he had
EPMD?
YKTV.
The one with A Boogie or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you.
A Boogie with the Hoodie, yeah. YKTV.
I think that's
I
one of my
like the
least.
song.
I think that's one of my least favorite tracks. You know,
I like it.
Really?
I don't really like it. Like
I like it for what it is.
That
Yeah.
one doesn't really stand out for me.
Yeah,
Like
that's not one I'd put
No,
on
it's
either.
not one that.
that's the one that if I skip a track, it's that one.
Fair enough. Because I think from that one, because the beat was like that, I wasn't expecting any lyricism from him. So I just listened to it for what it was. And I felt like for a person of his generation, he didn't do too bad on the trap beat.
Hey, he done what he needed to do.
Yeah, like I
Like,
just
it
felt
isn't
like,
one that is like, yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really go in there. Yeah,
But what's the standout tracks for you?
do you know what? Funny enough, the Eminem EPMD
I really like that one.
is a really standout track for me.
I really
and
like
that's
that, yeah.
because I didn't generally fuck with Eminem.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't really like him like that since I've been a kid. And I was, hi, my name is. You get me? But so I don't. But this brought him. It's like it brought the best out of Eminem.
Yeah.
Like it just worked for me with that one. Like he came with two different flows. He started off with that, then he came and just went off on it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, nah, this is crazy. And then EPM, I think it was good. That stands out for me.
I like how he was able to I really liked how he was able to bring those elements together. Do you know what I mean? Because EPMD, like they're really from the golden age of hip hop.
yeah,
The Nas is, you know, I guess
the golden age as well.
well, not at the time. He was really seen as the new school
Okay.
when he first came out, but obviously he would be
Now,
considered as
yeah,
golden
yeah,
age
yeah,
now.
retrospect, yeah.
And then you had Eminem, who came in
After Nas.
After Nas,
Yeah.
you know, so you had almost
That's
three
actually,
generations.
yeah. I
You know-
didn't,
You know
I
what I
didn't
mean?
get that.
You had almost
From-
like
it's
three
a-
generations.
It's like he just seasoned it right. Like,
Yeah,
You know, yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
You had that free generation
man.
of rapper, but what I liked is that no one was trying to like compete with the next person. Everyone just stayed in their lane.
Yeah.
You know, like EPMD weren't trying to go into triple time like Eminem. Nas wasn't trying to go into triple time like Eminem. But at the same time, they all stood and had strong presence on the track because they said what they had to say effectively. You know?
Yeah.
I remember you did.
He's like Eminem. Eminem.
I think this is a personal gripe I have. I think people live onto Eminem's legacy because of his early albums.
Yeah.
But for me, Eminem's been trashed for time. For me, he's been trashed
Okay,
for
but
time.
can you say he's a trash rapper or he makes trash music?
The
Because
music's
he can
been
rap.
relating right. No, Eminem can spit. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody can debate that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what he's releasing now to me
Yeah,
is
trash.
trash.
No, I completely agree with you on
So
that.
what he did
That
on-
is true.
So what he did in that tune to me was like he was trying to race the beat. It was like, oh, let me show you I can rap for us.
No, and
Nah.
did you know
It
what?
weren't working for me.
Did you know what?
Okay.
I agree with you on that. Like, I can't really listen to an Eminem album now from start to finish. Like,
Never.
it's insufferable.
Yeah.
Never.
But it's a
never,
thing
never.
where, like, as far as I think his bars in this particular verse was very corny. Like, let's
Yeah.
be honest. But
That
at the
is
same
true.
time, though, like, I just appreciated it for the essence of the track.
Yeah,
it was
me
literally people having fun. You know,
Fair
like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was just nice for me.
It was just a show. It was an exhibition.
Yeah, like it was cool. Like it just made sense for that track. EPMD, Eminem, and Nas. It was just like, whoa, don't like you put them all together and you've made a decent track like that.
Yeah.
What I
Like-
will say is though, it was nice because they have worked together. I think there's a tune on Godson that Eminem produced. The Cross. So they have worked together, but it's the first time they've rapped alongside each other.
Yeah.
I would have liked them to kind of go head to head, or something that felt a bit more like that. To me, it was like, no,
You wanted a renegade second.
Yeah.
But to me, something like renegade.
Like
But
a
to me, it was
renegade.
like, oh, Eminem, well, I'm just gonna come and spit fast, and I know people are gonna love it anyway.
Well, he
I'm
didn't
Eminem,
start
you
off fast. He gave us two
He
parts of
PM'd
it.
we're
gave
back
us
in
the rap.
business,
Then he
yeah.
gave us the let me show you
He
I
did
do
ease
my
us
thing.
into it, but
Yeah.
nah, not for me, man.
So what song stood
He
out
was
for you
about
then?
to
For
come.
me,
Yeah.
my favorite song currently is Moments. Moments to me is like, I just feel like what I said before. It's sort of like a Godfather take and everything. It was like moments you can't relive. Then it was like from still being a virgin, from having your first swim. Then he mentioned I didn't get to meet Muhammad Ali, but my brother did. I would have said this to him. Then I wish I met Sister Soldier, but she's still alive. But I'll tell her this if I see her. Like,
Yeah,
That was
for me,
concept. That was sick.
Moments, man. To me,
That
that's
was
just
sick.
I love
That was
moments.
Nas is good.
It wasn't a standout for me, but
Store Run.
Cool.
I love Store Run.
Store Run is dope.
No, nobody.
Nobody, yes. Do you lot want to get into that now?
We can do. We can. I'm not.
Yeah, we can do that. We
Because
can do
I feel that's good. Because of Lauryn Hill, I feel we're gonna have to dive into
Take
that
some
one a
time
bit,
on
but
that.
Okay,
yeah.
go on.
Yeah,
But
go on.
I do like Nobody. There's a bar Lauren said to me, it was like, Lauren, I love you, but please allow it, innit?
Yeah.
What was that?
The one about I'm saving souls, you're complaining about my lateness. I was like, sorry, people are paying to see you 10 up on time.
Like really?
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you.
People
I
are
feel
paying
you.
50, 60 pounds to see you.
I
Like, you're not
feel
doing
you.
it for free.
I
Don't
feel you,
ask
I
for doing
feel
people
you,
a
I
favor.
feel
You know what's interesting. You know what's interesting. Yeah, like what I'm coming to realize here is that there's a massive difference in perception between people who listen to artists and the artists themselves. Like, as far as the work in which they create, the artist sees it in a completely different way. Relative to the listener, right? Because let's be honest, that most listeners experience music on a very surface level, you know, whereas to them, like, there's deeper intricacies to it, which if they're not really appreciated or even noticed, they don't even respect your opinion. You know? And I think Lauryn Hill is definitely someone from that cloth who sees themselves as here as far as the art is concerned. And if you can't have certain conversations concerning it, don't even speak to me.
Yeah, she
And
has
she did-
that
You
thing
know,
about
it's like when you look at it, it's like her saying like you're complaining about my lateness. It's her saying you're lucky that I even show up.
Yeah.
That's the cockiness. That's the cockiness that is not appreciated. I don't like that. I don't like
But to
that.
be fair, she's a woman that I believe deserves to have that attitude.
No.
With what a little bit, because with what she's been through and the scrutiny and the blackballing and the cancelling and the whole. Listen, her thing ain't been easy.
Bro,
you
I
know?
hear you.
I hear
but
that,
people
yeah.
are paying £60 to see you. You
Yeah.
better turn up on time.
But
bro.
not just that.
I do get that. That's just basic manners. That's manners.
That's just manners, exactly.
I get
So
that.
for me, it's like there's nothing that the industry has done to you that you can justify why you're turning up late consistently over many years to your fan base.
I believe there is trauma, post-traumatic fucking stress disease is a serious thing. Excuse my language. I didn't need to be so crude. But, no, but it's very deep. You get me? Because every show she does is there's something from before what passed that has hurt her to what she has to deal with before that show again. So if she's late because she has to psych herself up or meditate or pray or hold her meds to make sure she's not, you get me, doesn't wobble before, then maybe that's the reason why
Then
she's
include that in your
consistently.
schedule, in
We're
your
not
timetable.
If it's we're human, innit?
Yeah.
A one-off, people are late.
Yeah.
Bro, she has built a name for being late.
But
to
hey,
concerts.
but to that point though, to your point though, yeah, this is the thing. This is what I don't get, yeah. Like, we're saying this, right, and we're saying that she's built up a reputation, blah 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 blah, but people still buy tickets to see her.
That again,
and
that's the
and
same-
also, and we're not just saying people buying tickets like, okay, I bought a ticket. We're talking about her selling out arenas.
I agree with that, but that doesn't mean that we can't acknowledge the criticism, because Drake is putting out trash for the last 5 years and people are still streaming it. That doesn't mean that the album is not trash. Her being late consistently is poor professionalism.
Yeah. But
we can't excuse that just because people are still.
But
buying
you
it.
you don't measure artists right by their professionalism. You measure artists by their aura, right? This is the thing. Like this is all building into the mystique of Lauryn Hill. Like this has made her name survive in this present day and age. Like the fact that her professionalism is so poor, and she's basically saying, "I'm up here and all of you are my minions," right? Is essentially creating that that distinction even further between her and the rest of us.
So
Like it's more than just her being late. It's far deeper than that.
So that's like a marketing thing for her, basically.
If you want to
Like a brand,
if you want to put it like that,
a branding thing for
It
her.
could be.
Where
It doesn't
it
really have that
helps
much of
her.
a positive. It's not really positive branding,
'Cause
though, is it? Because
like-
people are there, they're kissing their teeth, they're leaving.
yeah,
Like,
but they're still listening. But
You get me?
they're still listening. They're
Because-
still listening to the music, and I think it does far more good to her than actual harm.
No, I actually feel like that is the testament to how great her album is, as
Or her
opposed
messages,
to
yeah.
her messages from back then. Because again, she still hasn't released any new material, so
Yeah.
people are still holding on to her old stuff. But I feel like the more she basically abuses her fans, they're gonna get tired of that.
Wow.
Thank you.
No, that is abuse.
Okay,
She's
cool.
Lauryn Hill. She can do what she
Oh,
wants,
but
but at the
cool,
same time,
cool,
if
cool.
you respect people, you won't brag
Facts,
about
I
them.
believe that, but no one ain't dropping out Lauryn Hill.
No,
No one ain't dropping her out.
you just can't, because this is the thing here, is that like she's considered as the best female rapper to ever do it, off of just one project, you know,
Yeah.
and I think with that, like I think the testament that we're talking about that rather than her actual verse, I think speaks volumes, because I think the verse in and of itself was really, really strong.
Yeah.
You know, especially because like there's presence, man.
Yeah.
You know, and being away from the game for as long as she has, and to come in with the song with such clarity, with such confidence, like,
Cockiness, I would say.
I think really speaks to her overall package as a great artist, because you criticize Nas for being simple. I think this verse from Lauryn Hill was very simple, but at the same time there was so much clarity behind what it is that she had to say.
Yeah.
Like there was no misinterpretation.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lauryn Hill is much more technical than what she portrayed on that
Now,
verse.
exactly.
You get me? She is, but like we said, the times move, and you just need to hit the message. And once the message is received, you've done your job.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Once they receive that message, your job is done. If they don't receive it, then you know, okay, maybe I should have gave it to you in this way or that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I received it. You received it, right?
I did, yeah.
But speaking on Nas's legacy, right? And you saying that you were a big Nas fan before this album, right? How would you question Nas's catalog if you were to remove an Illmatic from it? Do you think that he's still in the conversation
Yes.
as one of the greatest to ever do it?
100%.
Why do you say that?
I say that because aside, Illmatic was that the first? That's the first.
Yeah,
verse,
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
First album.
That's when you're coming into the game, innit? Like your training wheels. You get me? Then you go on, you grow a bit, and you come with a different part of yourself. And that next part after the training wheels, I like how he's riding the bike.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? He's riding it the right way. Pause. You feel me? You feel me? So with that being said, he's still in my rankings because his music is good. It's good music, man.
Yeah.
Music's good. It hits. It hits every time it hits. You get me? There's more good songs than not to me. From Nas.
So then, with that said, how would you say his catalog then compares to the likes of a Jay-Z, who, especially like within like the first 10 years of their respective careers, were seen as essentially like in the same league? Like, would you still see that being the case, or would you say that one's left the other?
I say you know what? Yeah, I think I prefer. wait. I think I prefer. Do I prefer more Nas songs than Jay-Z songs? I think I actually prefer, like, songs wise, like, I know, listen, Jay-Z's my guy. Yeah, he's up
Yeah.
there, top 5, same way.
Yeah.
But when Jay-Z's got a lot of albums that I don't like a lot of the songs.
Really?
I think I listen to more of Nas's album songs than I do on Jay-Z's. I will choose songs from Jay-Z to listen to and pick certain albums from back, but for certain of the albums, I don't listen to them.
Yeah.
But I'll go back and listen to more Nas albums than I would of Jay-Z.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's just off top. You get me?
But would you say that because there's more of an old variation of Nas in his new music than Jay-Z?
Maybe so. That makes sense. That would make sense. Yeah, because Jay-Z's gone a bit thing with it, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not Jay-Z again. He's Basquiat.
He's short.
You feel me?
He's Sean Carter. That's funny. In terms of Nas's legacy without Illmatic, I don't know. Because I feel like Nas, for me, is in that elite place in hip hop. Not necessarily because of Illmatic. Illmatic helps a lot, but it's mainly because of his beef with Jay-Z and just his rapping ability that he has demonstrated throughout his career. Although Illmatic was encapsulating a lot of his clarity and storytelling and that genius, lyricism in one album, he has still been able to show his talent and his skill set throughout his career. Yeah. So I don't feel that without Illmatic, Nas is any less of a GOAT. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However, when it comes to comparing him in terms of like catalog, like artistry wise, in a sense, Illmatic definitely plays a big role in his catalog, because as a body of work, it really weighs heavy in his favor.
Yeah.
Compared to like a Jay-Z, for example. Like Jay-Z has a few classics. I feel like for Nas, he doesn't have as many. And when you want to like compete in that category, you need to have a couple of more classic albums. Does that make sense? So in that way, I would say Nas without Illmatic, it's still Nas, but as an artist, it's different.
Got you.
It's different.
Okay. Well, I guess rounding up, what would everyone's final thoughts be on the album? Has anyone's opinion shifted? Is it still the same?
It's still a 4 for me.
You're not looking at me. You're not looking at me. I mean, you made a very good comment about the fact that times has changed. Before, if you were not giving us, Oxford Dictionary, people were not rating your lyrics. And now it's more so like we want to be able, because everything is so watered down and digestible, we want to be like, okay, we want to listen to the first round and just move on. I can understand why some of the things were so simple. I still maintain the fact that I expect him to find a better balance. After the many years that he's put in the game, he's been at it for a long time. I just want him to be better at finding that balance. So I'll increase my grading to 3.5.
At least a 0.5. Touch me, brother.
But like I said, I was still disappointed, and I still feel like he could do better. And I seeing the progression between King's Disease and King's Disease 2, it's not surprising to feel like in the next year, for example, even more chemistry with Hitball, he can do that. He can find that better balance. Yeah. So I'm still hoping for more, basically.
Got you. Okay.
I want to go back to your question about where it ranks in his discography.
Yeah.
Without Illmatic, I still think Nas has a solid discography. People are acting as if it was written ain't damn near perfect. Like it was written
Facts.
yes, it was written. It has that tune.
Facts.
What's it? Where who's rapping from the perspective of being a gun.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
Oh, I gave you power.
I gave you power.
yeah.
Like, to me, that's one of the best storytelling
Sick.
hip hop songs
Sick,
ever.
sick.
You got Stillmatic, you got Life is Good.
Sick.
Comparing it to Jay-Z, Jay-Z's got more classic albums. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But I still think Nas holds his own without Illmatic, and Illmatic just makes it better.
Got you. Okay.
And I would still rate it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is this: is that I think Illmatic is really the best start that any rapper could ever want to have in their career.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's worked against him because everything that he's done subsequent to that has
always-
always been
it's
measured
it's
to
below.
that level of greatness.
Yeah.
And it almost feels that he's been chasing Illmatic, whereas artists like Jay-Z have been able to step out of it
Yeah.
quite intentionally. So, and that's kind of allowed him to branch more as an artist than Nas, in my
Yeah.
opinion, to where I think he started very strong. I think a few albums in between, a little murky, but I think if he finishes with King's Disease 2, I think that's just a great story. You know, you start strong, and you end strong as well.
Okay.
But I think we'll wrap it up there anyway,
Yeah.
for time purposes, of course. But thanks for tuning in. As always, really appreciate your time. I've been your host, Jordan.
Idris.
All right, Judah.
And Jojo.
Cool, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.